This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can be a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help you find options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
In a world where January is supposed to be boring, one staple of the holidays refuses to end. The great deals at Verizon. The joy just keeps on coming. Right now, you can save on 4 new phones and 4 lines. Critics agree it's the deal that keeps on giving. Come into Verizon and save on 4 new phones and 4 lines on unlimited welcome. Additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Hi, it's Matt here from P1 with Matt and Tommy, and this episode is sponsored by eBay. Ever tried to buy a car online and end up in a parking lot with a stranger, a paper title, and some blind trust? With Secure Purchase on eBay, you don't have to. Secure Purchase means sellers and titles are verified. Financing covered. Registration handled. Delivery, get your ride, plates, and paperwork shipped to you, so you can skip the DMV and sketchy meetups. Buy your next car on eBay. eBay. Things people love. Secure Purchase is powered by Caramel Dealer Services, LLC, an eBay subsidiary.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can be a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help you find options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
We live in a culture obsessed with dieting, weight loss, and exercise. And that can make eating disorder behaviors easy to miss. But the reality is, eating disorders are serious mental illnesses that take a major toll on your health and your life. But recovery is possible. Eating disorders are more common than you might think. Chances are you know someone who is struggling with one. Or maybe you're struggling yourself. If you're concerned about an eating disorder in yourself or a loved one, I want to introduce you to Equip. Equip is a fully virtual, evidence-based eating disorder treatment program that helps patients achieve lasting recovery at home. Every Equip patient is matched with a multidisciplinary care team that includes a therapist, dietitian, medical provider, and mentors. And you get a personalized treatment plan that's tailored to your unique goals and challenges. Equip treats patients of all ages and all eating disorder diagnoses. It's covered by insurance, and there's no wait list. If you think that you or a loved one could be struggling with an eating disorder, don't wait to get help. Visit equip.health to learn more. That's equip.health.
Hello, I'm Sarah and welcome to the Whispering Woods Extra. This extra is all about DAB-SOG related stories, so they're all to do with sleep paralysis. And as you all may know, I do not believe in sleep paralysis. I do believe it is something messing with your mojo. I'll get straight into it. Are you ready for the first story? Sleep paralysis and the black figure. Before last year, I never had any experience with sleep paralysis. I had experienced pretty vivid nightmares and even a few lucid dreams, but I had never been unable to move after waking or continued to see things after I awoke. But that all changed when I moved into a new place. I moved into a new apartment last July, and it was pretty typical, if on the low end of decent, one-bedroomed apartment. I've always considered myself to be somewhat a man of science. I don't believe in ghosts and feel that everything can be explained logically with science and reason. The following experiences are making me question that a bit. About 3 months in, I had my first ever experience with sleep paralysis. I remember it pretty vividly. I have a habit of sleeping with my head underneath my comforter at times, especially if it's cold outside, and therefore, as a somewhat frugal person, inside my apartment as well. I woke up and heard someone open up my apartment door. A few seconds later, my bedroom door creaked open. What followed was the noise of feet shuffling, like someone who doesn't pick their feet up when they walk, through the door, stopping right next to my bed. I was sure there was someone there, just feet away, who was going to rob and kill me. I keep a knife by my bedside, as I don't live in the greatest area. I physically couldn't move. My mind was awake, but my body was still paralysed. After what felt like forever, I finally regained control, snapped straight up and threw the covers off my head. There was nothing there. My bedroom door was closed and my apartment was locked with the chain lock still latched. I chalked it up to just a one-time thing. Yet a few months later, it happened again. This time I didn't have my sheets over my head and awoke to a shapeless, translucent black figure standing at the foot of my bed. As soon as my eyes opened, it ran back to the closet. I have a walk-in closet, and it appeared to duck behind one of the corners. Being half awake, and in this instance already out of sleep paralysis, I grabbed my knife and slowly made my way over to the closet. I turned on the light and saw nothing there. I convinced myself that it was just yet another episode, and that my brain was still in a dreamlike state, even though I was conscious. After the adrenaline wore off, I fell back asleep. About a month ago, I had my third experience. This time, it wasn't at the foot of my bed, but literally floating right above me. In searching Google for sleep paralysis, I found an image that represents pretty well what I experienced. Again, the second I laid eyes on it, it shot back into my closet and around the corner. It was about 3 a.m, and by this time, I had purchased a gun which I keep by my bedside. I grabbed it, turned the lights on, and again, nothing. This time though, after coming face to face with the thing, I couldn't sleep. I was filled with an uncontrollable sense of dread, and so kept the lights on for the rest of the night. I called in sick to work the next day due to lack of sleep, and fell back asleep after the sun came up. I figured that I was just not sleeping well, an issue that has plagued me my whole life. Maybe it was stress from work, or being prescribed Adderall for ADD, or a combination of all the stresses in my life that was resulting in my brain allowing REM sleep to continue into a conscious state temporarily. I related these experiences to a girl I had been talking to over Skype, and she gave the shapeless being a name, Jimmy. This actually helped a bit. How bad could he be with a name like Jimmy? She came into town a few days ago, and 2 or 3 nights ago, I fell asleep before she did. She was beside me in bed, I believe doing something on her phone, and I felt her get close to me and say, "There's something coming through the window, get me the gun." I couldn't move, I couldn't open my eyes, and she just kept saying it with a greater sense of urgency each time. I finally was able to move, turned over to her, and she was sitting there as if nothing had happened. I asked her if she was okay, told her what I had heard, but she insisted she hadn't said anything. Right behind her, I could see a translucent figure, albeit with a bit more detail this time. It appeared that the figure was wearing a US Navy dress white uniform, like the officer in the front of this picture, which is linked. However, it was still very fuzzy, and I couldn't stop staring. This time, the figure didn't move when I saw it. I kind of sat there, frozen in bed, as it slowly disappeared from my vision. There is nothing on the wall behind where it stood, so I know I wasn't seeing a poster or something and confusing it for a person. It's literally just a plain white wall. I can't remember fully the details, but she either had showered before coming to bed or went to take a shower after this experience. She woke me up again later and said that she saw something walk by the window. I thought it was weird, as I'm on the second story in my building. So maybe a raccoon or cat had made its way onto my windowsill and had walked by, casting a shadow onto the blinds. The next thing she said disturbed me. It walked by the window, inside my apartment. She described the same shapeless, translucent black figure and saw it stand exactly where I had seen the Navy uniformed figure earlier. When she saw it, it walked by the window towards my closet and disappeared. Being half asleep and well and truly spooked, I had no idea what to make of the situation. This thing was no longer just inside my mind. Someone else experienced it too. I have a huge bruise on my left knee. I have no memory of hitting my knee hard enough to leave a bruise like this. It's big and dark enough that I feel like I would remember hitting it this hard. If this thing isn't just in my mind, maybe it's getting more daring, more violent. The only relief I have is that I have access to a new apartment starting today. As of July 31st, I won't have to deal with Jimmy anymore. Edit. Forgot to add. Last night, as we were trying to go to sleep, she kept sitting straight up in bed. She would hear feet shuffling on the carpet around my bed. I couldn't hear anything, but she could. I actually used to sleep under my quilt at night when I was young, and I couldn't go to sleep without being under the blanket. Something I grew out of once I started sharing a bed, because you can't really pull it up over your head. But it was something, it made me feel really secure. So I still get that. It's just hide under the quilt because nothing can get you there. And obviously when you don't hide under the quilt, you get to see black figures running back to your cupboard. So to avoid seeing said black figures, it's always recommended to just hide under your blanket. Never look. If you hear a noise, just don't look and it's not there. And like I've said, I don't believe in sleep paralysis, and it cannot be that, because he wasn't in it and he still saw it. And that's all I've got to say. Are you ready for the second story? I've been having sleep paralysis for months and just found out that it could be something more. A little background. My boyfriend leaves for work at 5 a.m. I don't wake up till 7, so I sleep in. He'll say goodbye to me before he leaves, so I'll wake up for a few seconds and go right back to sleep. Lol. Now on to the point. For the last 6 months or more, I've been having horrible sleep paralysis when he leaves, several mornings throughout the month. It's not exactly the same dream every time, but they all have one common theme. Someone, straight something, is pretending to be my boyfriend. For the first few months, I would hear the door open and I would call out for him. The thing would sound just like him and say, "Yeah, it's me, I came back. Just go back to sleep." Or something like that every time. I would ask why, and then it would stop talking. I would hear it taking a belt off like my boyfriend would, then lay next to me, and I could feel the bed morph to its body. Eventually, I would break my paralysing fear and turn over super fast to see its face, but obviously nothing was there. Side note, I never remember that waking up moment when it happens. After those first few months, it started touching my head or my hip. A light touch. I was still in denial about what was happening and would still ask it, "Are you," my boyfriend's name? And it would say, "Yes, I came back." I would say back, "No, you're not," and start crying. Eventually I stopped talking to it and would just lay there in fear. Lately though, it's gotten much worse. The very last time it happened, it laid next to me like it always does, but it was actually spooning me and holding me tight and whispering in my ear. That's never happened to me before. Another side note, I've had sleep paralysis in the past, but it was super rare, and I would just feel paralysed and couldn't sleep. Well, tonight, I thought I finally figured out why I was having all this messed up sleep paralysis. I noticed that when I do have sleep paralysis, the bedroom door is open. So I told my boyfriend my theory and asked him if he could always close the door when he leaves from now on. He told me for the first time ever that he always closes the door. Sometimes the door is wide open. Sometimes it's just slightly open. Every time I get that dream, the door was open, and that's literally how my sleep paralysis starts every time. With that thing opening the door. It's just us two that live here. Someone please tell me, it's all just sleep paralysis. The thing that really got to me was hearing the noise of the belt being taken off. I don't know what that is, and I don't know if it's because I'm a woman, but there's just something nasty about hearing that sound. I don't like it at all. That to me is even scarier than something pretending that it's your partner. Just hearing the belt being taken off and the spooning terrified me. Are you ready for the third story? A sleep paralysis experience that shifted my beliefs. I've always been intrigued by tales of cryptids and the paranormal. I had never had any personal experiences to share. To be honest, the lack of substantial evidence for such phenomena was somewhat comforting. Despite their fascination, these phenomena can be frightening. However, I experienced something about 10 years ago that completely shifted my perspective on the paranormal and spirituality. The short version is this. A decade ago, I reconciled with my first love after a painful separation. She was already 3 months pregnant with another man's child. Yes, it sounds like a simp story, but it was a decision that I put a lot of thought into, and it ultimately changed my life. Fast forward to now, we're happily married with 2 kids, and our daughter is turning 10 next month. During this emotional turmoil, I experienced something I can only describe as sleep paralysis. I woke up, unable to move. I could move my eyes. I saw an all-black figure, featureless, falling over my legs and towards my pregnant wife. Despite my attempts to scream or move, I was helpless. The figure reached my wife and was sitting between her legs with its hands on her legs, and I felt an intense, overwhelming dread. This horror was so profound that I awoke kicking, accidentally hitting my wife's pregnant stomach. She and the baby were okay, but we were both shaken. This happened again 3 nights later, when I felt like I was being pulled under the bed, like head first, sliding under the headboard, until I was completely underneath the bed. All the while, this figure was at the foot of the bed, sitting. Yet again, I awoke in a panic, this time hitting my wife again. She started placing pillows between us for protection while we tried to understand what was happening. In the days that followed, I was haunted by sudden waves of intense fear and an unshakable feeling of not being alone. Even during the day, at work or while driving, I found myself constantly looking over my shoulder. The sensation was that strong. Desperate for help, I took my wife's advice and reached out to a pastor from her church. I poured out my experiences and fears to him, and he suggested a spiritual remedy. He told me to walk through our house, holding a Bible, and to rebuke the presence in the Lord's name. Skeptical but desperate, I followed his advice, alone in the house, armed with only a Bible and a phrase of rebuke. I did as instructed. Initially, I didn't feel any change, but then slowly, the fear began to recede. Since that day, I've never experienced anything similar. I can offer a scientific explanation for what I experienced, but it was a powerful personal confirmation that there's more to our world than we can perceive with our senses. Whether you classify it as paranormal, spiritual, or religious, I chose to view this as evidence that if unseen forces of evil exist, then there must also be forces of good. Take from my story what you will, but I needed to share it. Oh, I really don't know why this figure showed up at this point. I did think maybe it's related to... I just don't even know. Some entity trying to get in the way of, like, happiness, maybe. But the way it was described as sitting between her legs was awful. Now, my son went through... He actually hits out in his sleep, and his girlfriend's got to be really careful. And he, it is that thing where you're just completely not aware, and I don't know if it's to do with his head injury, but you have got to be really careful. And obviously, that's going to bring up a lot of guilt feelings as well, that I've hit you, but I was asleep, but I still hit you. I don't know if it's somehow related to this entity. Lots to think on there. Are you ready for the fourth and final story? I have seen my girlfriend's sleep paralysis demon. My girlfriend and I moved into a new apartment roughly 3 years ago. She has since then been suffering from weekly sleep paralysis. Her brother used to have them when they were children, so she knew what it was right away. She has described it as being completely paralysed, besides breathing and moving her eyes. And most of the times, she sees a dark, tall figure moving around our apartment when that happens. Sometimes, she just hears him walking. Sometimes he's staring at her from the door. and sometimes he presses down on her chest, making it difficult for her to breathe. She's a non-believer of the paranormal, yet the sleep paralysis terrifies her. Now to the really scary part. She usually manages to wake me up during these by breathing quickly and loudly. I can then wake her from it, which enables her to move again, and the figure disappears. What I haven't told her is that these past 2 months, I've seen the figure as well. Right after I'm woken up by her breathing, I can see it bent over her, pushing down on her ribcage. It always disappears the second I acknowledge it or try to wake her. I've also seen it standing in the hallway, staring at me one night while I was home alone watching a movie. I pretended I didn't see it, and it had disappeared the next time I looked over. Now to the dilemma. Do I tell my girlfriend that her sleep paralysis demon might not be a regular sleep paralysis demon, since I've seen it too, and at the same time as her, waking her up from the paralysis at night? I don't want to scare her. She is already terrified from the sleep paralysis, and that is when she feels certain that it's just in her own head. We can't afford to move. I think we can both live like this if I never tell her the truth. Advice. Edit. You guys are scaring me. I was, on the skeptic side, and didn't truly believe it was something paranormal. But honestly, I'm getting a bad feeling now.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
We live in a culture obsessed with dieting, weight loss, and exercise. And that can make eating disorder behaviors easy to miss. But the reality is, eating disorders are serious mental illnesses that take a major toll on your health and your life. But recovery is possible. Eating disorders are more common than you might think. Chances are you know someone who is struggling with one. Or maybe you're struggling yourself. If you're concerned about an eating disorder in yourself or a loved one, I want to introduce you to Equip. Equip is a fully virtual, evidence-based eating disorder treatment program that helps patients achieve lasting recovery at home. Every Equip patient is matched with a multidisciplinary care team that includes a therapist, dietitian, medical provider, and mentors. And you get a personalized treatment plan that's tailored to your unique goals and challenges. Equip treats patients of all ages and all eating disorder diagnoses. It's covered by insurance, and there's no wait list. If you think that you or a loved one could be struggling with an eating disorder, don't wait to get help. Visit equip.health to learn more. That's equip.health.
I'm really conflicted on whether this person should say anything. One part of me thinks, just keep it shut, don't say anything, and, hopefully it will go away and you can all live your lives. But the other half says, if that was me and I found out that I wasn't told, I would be furious. Because how can you protect yourself if you don't know something's happening? But then the other half goes, yeah, but you don't want to scare her. Oh, I really don't know. Tell or not tell? Couldn't answer that for anyone. I'm too indecisive as a person. Well, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed. And I'll catch you again at the weekend if you're tuning in to After Dark. Take care, everyone.
In a world where January is supposed to be boring, one staple of the holidays refuses to end. The great deals at Verizon. The joy just keeps on coming. Right now, you can save on 4 new phones and 4 lines. Critics agree, it's the deal that keeps on giving. Come into Verizon and save on 4 new phones and 4 lines on unlimited welcome. Additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can be a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help you find options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
If you're an HVAC technician and a call comes in, Grainger knows that you need a partner that helps you find the right product, fast and hassle-free. And you know that when the first problem of the day is a clanking blower motor, there's no need to break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product details, you're confident you'll soon have everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The stories told on the Whispering Woods are inspired by historical records, witness reports, and local folklore. While every effort is made to research and represent events accurately, some details, names, and locations may differ from official accounts or have been changed out of respect for those involved. These episodes are created for storytelling and entertainment purposes and should not be considered definitive fact or investigative journalism.